Right, without further ado, here are 5 things that people keep saying about Dead Island 2 that they should really stop saying because they're incorrect. Number 1. Dead Island 2 is cancelled. Now, I thought I made it pretty clear with the screenshots and everything, but they have confirmed on Twitter that Dead Island 2 is not cancelled and it is still being developed, so there's not much else to say here. It is still being developed, okay? It has not been cancelled, even though people keep saying that over and over again. They've clearly stated it is still in development. Now, this doesn't guarantee that it won't be cancelled in the future, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it does end up getting cancelled. But right now, as of when I'm making this video, it is not cancelled. Number 2, Dead Island 2 will release in December 2019 or 2018 because GameStop says so, or because this website or that website says so. And I want to make it clear, I'm really appreciative of you guys who let me know, like, hey, by the way, dude, I saw that on GameStop, it says that December 29th, 2019 is the release date for Dead Island 2. I really appreciate you letting me know, but all of those dates are placeholder dates. There is no release date for Dead Island 2, and all those dates, especially in December 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th, maybe even 31st, whenever there's a date like that for a game, it's always, at least almost always, a placeholder date. And I really don't like this practice. I think if they don't have an actual date, they should just say, to be confirmed, but of course retailers want you to pre-order and shit, so unfortunately they throw a fake date up there or a placeholder date, but Dead Island 2 does not have a release date. No matter what each website says, it does not have a release date. The release dates that you do see are placeholder dates. Number 3, Dead Island 2 has been put on hold because they're focusing more on Dying Light and Dying Light 2. So maybe this is something I haven't made clear in my videos, but Dying Light and Dead Island are being created by completely separate people. They have nothing to do with each other, okay? So let me break it down real quick. Dead Island was released in 2011. It was developed by Techland and published by Deep Silver. Dead Island Riptide was released in 2013 and same deal, it was developed by Techland and published by Deep Silver. Then, after the release of Dead Island Riptide, Techland decided to part ways with Deep Silver and the Dying Light franchise, and instead they teamed up with Warner Brothers to make Dying Light. Meanwhile, Deep Silver was like, well shit, we need to get someone to make Dead Island 2 since Techland isn't working with us anymore, and so they got Yager Studios to replace Techland and start developing Dead Island 2. And they did start developing, and they got a fair way through. They showed off gameplay, they did a reveal trailer, but then, in early 2016, it was announced that Yager Studios had also parted ways with Deep Silver, and then Deep Silver got Sumo Digital to replace Yager. Then, of course, Dying Light 2 was recently announced at E3 2018, and it seems like it'll be both developed and published by Techland themselves, not even working with Warner Brothers this time. So here's how things look in 2018. Deep Silver and Sumo Digital are making Dead Island 2, whilst Techland is making Dying Light 2. They are completely separate. Now, it is fair to say that the success of the Dying Light franchise will affect that of the Dead Island franchise, for sure. I mean, they're direct competitors, right? But the two series, from a development standpoint, from a publishing standpoint, they are completely different games. It's not the same team focusing on one game over the other, completely different series, completely different developers, completely different publishers, okay? Completely different. Number 4. Techland is currently fighting for the rights to the Dead Island franchise so they can regain it under their name and they can continue to develop it, publish it, do whatever they want with it so that they can once again be in charge of the Dead Island series. And at this point, this is an unconfirmed rumor and nothing but an unconfirmed rumor. There is no proof of this whatsoever, and people keep sort of saying this because I think one person started the rumor saying, hey, I've got buddies in the industry, they told me this. Once again, there is no proof of this whatsoever. And if you really think about it, Techland just announced Dying Light 2 at E3 2018. Wouldn't it make more sense for them to just focus their efforts on Dying Light 2, right? Because Dying Light is the more successful franchise, by the way, and it just doesn't make all that sense to me that they would be like, hey, we want to get Dead Island back as well, even though we've got the successful Dying Light franchise we're working on. But regardless of how plausible you do think it is, there is no proof. And finally, number 5, Dead Island Riptide is Dead Island 2. Alright, if you want to get technical about it, yes, Dead Island Riptide is the second game released in the Dead Island franchise, but it is not Dead Island 2, in the same way that Fallout New Vegas isn't Fallout 4 or whatever, okay? It's Fallout New Vegas. I mean, Dead Island Riptide was kind of just like a Dead Island 1.5 to begin with. It wasn't really a true sequel in my opinion, but when I say Dead Island 2 in my videos, I'm talking about the actual game titled Dead Island 2. I'm not talking about fucking Dead Island Riptide, you smartasses. So please, do me a favor, do us all a favor, and stop saying these 5 things, because you're kind of spreading misinformation when you do so, even though you may have good intentions, right? And I do appreciate those good intentions, trust me, I do, but just stop saying these 5 things, okay? Alright, have a great day.